right, what should we call this one? What's a volleyball move that...
Set
your prison sentence for 260 years.
Serve, set,
Serve,
spike,
set, sentence for...
serve, set, sentence.
Yes, serve, set, sentence.
There you go.
260 years. You piece of shit. I guess we could just get into it again because there's like no fun. You know what? We always say, let's get into it. And then there's something that comes up. So then we end up being like, blah, 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 about something else anyway. Okay. So part 2 of NXIVM.
Burn it down, Sarah. Burn it down.
Burn it down, Sarah. So to recap, Keith Raniere is like a huge dweeb who has conned a lot of lovely women into giving him money and power. And there has been a group now that has been branding women in this weird, like, sadomasochistic, like, slave, like, sex slave.
Call me master.
Yeah. And the last we left, Sarah Edmondson, who is really cute and like a actress and was very high up at NXIVM, had gotten a brand and was just empowered by her friend Mark Vicente and Bonnie Piesse to be like, that's bullshit. And she was like, you're right. So she took all of these documents and she's like, I'm going to fucking burn it down. So then, also trigger warning.
Trigger warning.
There is suicide. There's mentions of suicide and then also sexual assault. So we didn't get to the very yuck stuff last time.
Although a lot of it was yuck.
Oh, no, yeah.
It's
yuckier.
It's yuckier. Okay.
It's yuckier. That was kind of like a business overview. This is a nitty-gritty.
This is nitty-gritty. Like buckle up your bootstraps.
So I will say, I watched The Vow when it like first came out. And The Vow kind of leads up to, it's basically like Sarah, Mark, and Bonnie all leaving and then like just finding, like, and just like trying to make sense of everything. So a lot of The Vow relates back to the DOS stuff. But when I started looking into it, like, yes, DOS is fucking awful and like the organization is awful. But there's shit that happens that I'm like, why? Not been much information on it. Like, it's verified because it was like, it's all in the, like, out in the trial. But like, there's like, I don't know. Like, I don't understand why people don't talk about it more. But I think it's part of why Keith Raniere has such a long sentence.
That's so crazy.
Sarah leaves NXIVM and she takes with her a ton of documents and takes them to the FBI.
Oh, shit. She said, fuck my local police station.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Yeah, and then they do nothing.
What?
They were like, I don't know what to do with this, so...
When there's, like, recordings, there's documentation.
So...
What?
Sarah then turns to a reporter for the New York Times.
That'll get somebody's attention.
Okay, if the FBI is going to do nothing, then we have to go public. So she, Mark, and Bonnie, along with Catherine Oxenberg had introduced her daughter India into the organization because, like, to do classes, and India got fully sucked into DOS. So Catherine wants her daughter back.
Yeah.
And she is a little bit apprehensive about the FBI because she's like, that means that I'm putting my daughter, like she'll be liable for criminal charges. So she's like, we're going to go, like, we'll do the New York Times piece, right? And at first they're like, we'll just be anonymous. And the reporter was like, that's great, but that doesn't make for a very compelling story. So they all decide to put their name to it.
Oh, good.
And so...
Scary.
Which is, like, very scary.
There's a lot of
It's, like, a really big deal.
Right.
So he finishes the article, but then it gets marked as evergreen, which means...
What is that?
Evergreen means it can go on, like, it can go at any time.
Oh.
Like, it's a strong enough... evergreen is good. Like, as a writer, you want evergreen pieces because it means it can be published anytime.
Okay.
So it, like, has that longevity to it.
Okay.
but that means that it might not, then no one knows when it's going to get published. So that massive hurricane in Puerto Rico happens.
Oh, yeah.
The Las Vegas shooting happens.
Oh, yeah.
And so the story keeps getting pushed because there's these huge stories that are coming out, which is disappointing. But at the same time, it's like there was not really much they can do.
And honestly, I mean, it is disappointing. But if we're being 100% honest, I also think that like if they were to put it out at the same time as these other things, it would have just kind of fell to the wayside anyway.
Yeah.
Like it wouldn't have got the attention it deserves.
Yes. So then Harvey Weinstein is accused of raping 3 women in New York, and the Me Too movement takes off. So the New York Times runs the story on the front page with a picture of Sarah Edmondson and her brand. And it's so funny because they're like, she's like laughing and she's like, oh my God. She's like, my face and my vagina are on the front of the New York Times.
Oh my God. And her vagina?
Well, because it's just like, it's on
the
her
branding.
There's a picture of the brand. But she was like, oh my God. So it leads to a media storm, and the attention forces the FBI to open a criminal investigation.
That's fucking right.
Keith flees to...
Which makes me mad, but okay.
I know. It's like, it shouldn't
have taken all that, but okay.
But so it leads to this media storm. The FBI takes an attention. Keith flees to a villa in Puerto Vallarta with Lauren Salzman, Allison Mack, and Nikki Klein.
Sounds very P. Diddy, but okay.
I know. So on March 25th, 2018, the villa was raided by federales. They broke down the door while Lauren Salzman was making a smoothie, and then she runs to go protect Keith. And then she's like, holy shit, they have guns. So she like curls up into a ball and it's just like, oh my God. They find Keith hiding in a closet like a fucking coward.
That makes me happy.
I know. But it was this moment though that Lauren Salzman said that she's like running. She was like, I was about to put my body over him. And then she's like, I had this moment of realization that like,
he would never
do the same for her. Of
course not.
She's like, I would have given my life for him and he would not have given his life for anybody.
For a second.
No.
Everybody's disposable in his path, like literally.
Yeah. So Keith is charged with racketeering, forced labor conspiracy, wire fraud, and sex trafficking, which is very similar, minus the murder, to Keith Ham of the Hare Krishnas, where they kind of treated it like a criminal organization, like a mob.
Like a mob,
situation.
yeah.
Yeah. So immediately he tries to pin the creation of DOS on Allison Mack. But the FBI had enough evidence, including on audio recording
from
of him telling her exactly how he wanted the branding to go down and asking what the design looked like. Yeah. They also arrested Lauren Salzman, Allison Mack, Nancy Salzman, and Claire Bronfman.
Good.
On racketeering charges.
Yeah.
Nancy maintains that she thought that DOS was a lie. She was like, there's no way that this is real. Then she saw evidence of Keith's sexually explicit text to a 15-year-old. And she knew exactly how bad it was.
Yeah.
And so she was the first to plead guilty and was like...
She's like, I've was part of this.
I have nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's
she
awful.
Convinced Lauren to plead guilty. And she didn't have to serve time. And I think it was because she ended up testifying, providing so much critical information to prosecution. Which is yuck because I think she's done a lot of yucky stuff, but she was also victimized young.
She was groomed. She was and taught when she was young that this is the way. Like this is, you know.
So Keith's trial starts May 7th, 2019, and his defense tries to argue that Keith was a man who had a polyamorous lifestyle, and he might not like it, but it's not illegal.
There are several things that he did that were illegal.
I think his
cute.
like I could be wrong, but I did read a quote somewhere where they were like, it might be, they labeled it disgusting but not a crime.
What?
Was like what they were going for. They were like, this is disgusting but not a crime.
Anything to make it to where it's like not a crime.
Yeah. And so they also claim that DOS was a sisterhood that was created to better themselves, and it's sexist to victimize women who chose to brand themselves when they would glorify men who would have done the same thing.
Absolutely not. They did not choose to brand themselves. Let's be very clear. They were blackmailed.
Yeah.
Had collateral. They literally used the words collateral.
They literally said collateral. They also kept being like, we helped 17,000 people. That has to count for something. No, it means nothing.
No, it means nothing. And who
it
says
means
that you helped
also
them?
brainwashed
Yeah.
17,000
Who says that you
people.
helped anybody?
They just don't know.
Right.
So Lauren testified that during her time at NXIVM, she was required to send him 3 vag pics a week.
Ew.
I know. Can
Ew.
you imagine? Also,
no.
who wants to just look at that?
No, not me.
I don't think, maybe he
like,
wasn't looking at it. Maybe he just wanted it to have the
power of saying, this is due.
Yeah. He also restricted her diet, and it was her that helped him craft the rule book for DOS.
That is so disgusting.
Even though he was like, I had nothing to do with it. So Daniela, the
girl who got locked up for 2 years.
The girl who was imprisoned for 2 years, testified about her relationship with Keith, her imprisonment, and then Keith's subsequent relationship with both her sisters. Again, one was 15 at the time.
Remember, he was like, oh no, we have to wait till you're 18.
Yeah. But meanwhile, and Daniela does say, like, on the stand, she was like, I was kind of pissed off at Keith because she's like, why'd you make me wait, but you didn't make my sister wait?
Yeah.
She's like, which is fucked up to think about, but she's like, my brain wasn't fully functioning. I didn't know any better.
Right.
And it was Daniela's sister who was the beginning of DOS, because the text messages that came out, she starts calling him master. He starts calling her slave. And then he's like, I want you to get more sheep for me. And she's like, what are you going to do? Brand us? And he's like, wouldn't you want to burn for me? And it was the beginnings of DOS.
My God, that's where it was born.
That's where it was born. So women after women come up and testify, and Keith lawyers would be like, no, this was consensual.
Oh my God.
They weren't forced to be here.
Oh my God.
But again, informed consent. It's like, yeah, and there was no informed consent, and he'd been sexually grooming these kids since they were literally teens.
Right.
Another witness? Rick Ross.
Stop it.
Rick Allen Ross.
Oh.
Every time I say Rick Ross,
yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And it's always Rick Allen Ross.
Rick Allen Ross?
Rick Allen Ross. Our favorite non-rapper.
Oh, no.
Our favorite non-rapper cult expert.
Yeah.
And I guess Keith had been trying to sue him for 15 years for being like, yo, this is the cult.
Stop it.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was always trying he was trying to sue him. In my notes, it says Keith was like always trying to sue for obvious reasons. We need a Rick Allen Ross / Rick Ross mashup.
Right? Oh my God.
Someone make it happen. All right. So jury deliberation was expected to be at least a day or two, but the verdict was reached in 4 hours.
Yes, it was. The evidence is screaming. Like, literally, they brought all of the evidence to the table. There's not much to, like,
no,
this
they
happened?
Left it
okay,
all
it's wrong.
Out there. They were like, some of the press was like, why do we need to know about, like, he was like asking, he was comparing, I guess Daniela's younger sister had slept with someone else and he was not okay with it. And he was asking about his penis size, and he was like,
oh my God.
In the test, he was like, is it bigger? And she's like, I don't know. And he's like, is it longer? And he's like, well, I know that his is this amount of inches. And I know mine is this amount of inches. And she's like, why do you even know that?
How do you even know? Like,
and then the press is like, why do we have to hear about this in court? What does this have to do with anything?
No thanks.
But it just reiterates his point.
It highlights
about
how crazy.
Controlling and how manipulative.
Right.
And how much he groomed.
Honestly, big scale, those details don't, like, whatever, but it gives you so much more insight to who this person is. Like, to who he is.
So he's found guilty for all the things.
Yes, the fuck he is.
There were over 100 victim impact statements read, including Daniela and then her younger sister. Her younger sister, I think, was very scared to testify, but she did give a victim impact statement.
Good.
And Keith's statement was, sorry you guys feel that way, but I'm innocent.
I can't, the sorry you feel that way moment, I can't. It's such, like, a bullshit, like, thing. Like,
yeah,
sorry,
it was like,
you feel
sorry
that
if
way.
People feel like they've been hurt by me, but I'm innocent
but that's
of all
not
these
it.
charges.
No, you're fucking not.
No,
you're disgusting.
He was sentenced to 120 years in prison.
Yes. Oh my God.
I know.
It's so satisfying when bad guys actually, like, have to pay.
Yeah, I know. Allison Mack pleaded guilty to 1 count of racketeering, conspiracy, and 1 count of sex trafficking and served 3 years in prison. She was released July of last year and is laying real low.
I bet you she is. You better keep laying low.
Claire Bronfman pled guilty, but she was, like, still his #1 fan. So she actually got 81 months in jail, which is longer than the sentence the prosecution recommended. The judge was like, "You're not sorry. You get more time."
Yeah. No, you clearly don't see the error.
Last month, I said that we had that cultured thing, the update. So she was released to a halfway house like last month or maybe the month before.
Oh, wow.
Nancy got 3.5 years and was released to a halfway house in April of this year. Keith still has a small group of supporters, including Nikki Klein, the girl from Battlestar Galactica.
Weird.
Which, honestly, I'm so pissed. She was like my favorite character on Battlestar Galactica.
She's letting you down.
She let me down so hard. Yeah. But also, like, yeah, no, I don't know. I think that she seems crazy in the like documentary, but I think that she was super heavily manipulated. So we haven't really talked about her, but she's fucked. She claims to have helped create DOS. She also got married. Her and Allison Mack got married in 2018, I think, so that Nikki could get her green card, and then divorced in 2020.
Oh,
but she also conspired with Keith in jail to serve an affidavit to the prosecution, being like, "You were ethical, right? Like, you need to make sure that you were ethical." I don't know. She's fucking ridiculous.
Bullshit.
Sarah Edmondson and her husband, Nippy Ames, host a podcast called A Little Bit Culty. And if you like our podcast, you probably would also like their podcast. They do we only cover like wellness and like yoga kind of like culty things, but they cover like all of the cults and all the things. They just had an episode come out about like a hedge fund cult.
What a unique perspective that they have.
Mm-hmm. It was funny too in this last episode because I was like, I should probably listen to it because I do like them.
Yeah.
And it's like samesies. So, but they were talking about this leader, the leader of this like hedge fund group. And they were like, he is giving like so much. So like their insight is very like,
yeah,
their insight
That's
is
insane.
very,
like
yeah,
it's
great.
Such a unique perspective that they have. Like they can, when they do the research and when they tell the stories, like they can compare it to their own experiences.
Yeah.
And like, that's wild.
Yeah. Bonnie Piesse reprised her role as Beru Lars in Obi-Wan Kenobi on Disney Plus. Despite like retiring from acting, she was just like, yeah, I guess you can't say no to Star Wars.
No.
But I was watching it, so I obviously watch all the Star Wars shows. And when she like showed up, I was like, oh my God. I was like, oh my God, Tommy, this lady, she got sucked into a cult. And then she got out because she was like kind of the catalyst for all of this happening. Because if she hadn't gone out, then Mark wouldn't have gone out.
Then Mark wouldn't have been
Sarah
like,
wouldn't have gone out.
Whoa.
So I had like such a hard fangirl moment when I saw her. And I was like, fuck yeah, Bonnie. Like,
and she has the brand.
No, Bonnie does not. She did not. She not? Left. No, she left before that. Sarah, the podcast host, she's the one. She had it removed though.
Oh, she did?
She did.
Good.
So this episode covers most of what you'll find about the organization, like the main like sex cult stuff. But I did want to point out some like really fucked up things that aren't focused on either in the documentary or just like in anything you read about, because I think that's the first thing you think about is this whole DOS business when you hear of NXIVM. But so remember way back in episode 1 when Keith Raniere was dating a 15-year-old named Gina when he was 24. Well, she broke up with him. And then she, in the meantime, had introduced him to a friend also named Gina, but she wasn't 15. She was 14.
Oh, God.
So he obviously manipulates her into a sexual relationship. She drops out of school, goes to work for Keith at CBI, at Consumer Byline Incorporated, which is his first company. She was found dead of a self-inflicted gunshot wound in October of 2002. Allegedly, Keith was overheard telling her ways in which a person
could kill themselves,
could commit suicide, and encouraged her to do so after he learned that she had another boyfriend.
Oh my God.
There is also some other stuff that I found, but it wasn't corroborated.
That is the saddest fucking thing.
Yeah. There was also the death of a woman who began acting erratic at an intensive in Alaska. She claimed to be pregnant with Keith's child, which Claire Bronfman did corroborate, but then was barred from returning to the intensive. They were just like, sorry, you got to go. Don't come back. She commits suicide. And at the trial, it was testified that Keith paid $24,000 for her email password. To do what?
What?
I don't fucking know.
to probably...
There was some weird hacker shit that was going on that I don't know about. He also claimed that she faked her death because she was involved in a drug smuggling ring, which was not true.
No. Like, what? That's such a far reach.
Yeah.
That is so crazy. But
it's like
so
cold.
He's like, no, we just need to wipe her clean.
Yeah.
Like, literally.
This is the worst. Okay. And those two were very, very
Those
bad. Those were bad.
Those
this is like another level of
bad.
Maybe same level, but like different.
Mm-hmm.
Pam Caffritz, who had been with Keith since the beginning and was one of his much longer partners. Like people thought they were married because they had this like very long-term relationship. She was his number one, like for a very long time. She was diagnosed with renal cancer and he just let her waste away without like helping her to get medical attention.
He was like, oh, you have cancer.
Nancy Salzman recalls in The Vow, and this is like, I don't know. This is like, I thought he was disgusting before, and then this made me just like see red.
Yeah.
So in The Vow, she recalls one morning, Keith comes over for breakfast because he would come over every morning and she would make him breakfast. And he's like, oh, hey, can I ask you for a favor? Can you help me to change Pam's sheets because she had an accident last night? Because again, she's got cancer.
Yeah, she's sick.
And Nancy's like, oh my God, she used to be a nurse. She's like, okay, yeah, let me go do that. And he was like, no, she'll be okay. Just make breakfast first. And she's like, okay, it must not be that bad. So then she makes breakfast and she's like, okay, I'm going to go help Pam. And he's like, no, sit and chat with me. She'll be fine. And she's like, okay. And so after Keith is done, she goes up and Pam had defecated herself. And so she's cleaning it up. And then she was like, that man let her sit in your shit for hours while he had a cozy breakfast.
Yeah.
You could have had help sooner. And he was just like, no, feeding me and me being chill is more important.
Takes priority.
And that was like instead of like years before everything went down. And she said that like after that, she was like something switched in her mind where she was like, she's like, I couldn't see him for what he was yet. But that moment, like our relationship was not the same because I didn't trust.
You couldn't unsee what she did like see, like that's going to stick with.
And you know what's fucking awful? So what's awful about The Vow is Nancy Salzman has in season 2 talks a lot. And
I need to go watch this.
Fucked up. Like and the stuff that she does is fucked up. Like she supported this. She definitely committed crimes, but then I don't think that she knew exactly how bad it was. And when she realized, and I think that she thought she was giving tough love. I think that she thought that she was going through the curriculum because there's even moments where they'll show video of her being like, sexual consent is this. And she was like, oh, we were doing a thought exercise. She's like, obviously I see it. And I see knowing what I know that was fucked up. But I remember in the moment him being like, this is a thought exercise. Let's like deconstruct all these different little things so that when you start deconstructing ethics and values, then you can manipulate them easier.
Right. And when you're just so like in it, sometimes it's hard to see, like everything just does get really blurry.
Yeah.
Especially when you're surrounded by people who are kind of reaffirming.
It's an echo chamber.
Right. And so like I do have more empathy for certain situations, but fuck that.
Yeah. It's like it's hard to watch because you're like, you did so much fucked up shit, but you see the pain where she's like, I don't get it. Did he do the good so he could do the evil? Did he do the good to get the people so he could do the evil? Like what would, like she's like trying to make sense of it and you can see
she's trying to wrap her head around it.
And you can see it and how awful it is and it's like it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And it's like hard to feel sad for someone who caused so much pain.
This pain.
Yeah.
And all this bullshit.
Yeah. But yeah, it's hard. So after Pam passes, Keith and some higher ups at the company used her credit card to rack up over $300,000.
Are you fucking kidding me?
In debt.
A dead woman.
Mm-hmm. They stole her identity.
Theft.
Yeah.
Did he go to jail for that too?
I believe that's up in the racketeering charge.
Good.
Actually, no. I have a list I have the full list of the charges: sexual exploitation of the younger sister as a minor, and possession of child sexual abuse material depicting her, sex trafficking and forced labor of someone named Nicole. That's in quotes because it's a pseudonym.
It's an alias.
Attempted sex trafficking of someone named Jay, pseudonym. Identity theft against Edgar Bronfman. I don't know who this James person is. Shauna something or other, and Pam Caffritz. Subjecting Daniela to document servitude for labor and services, conspiracy to alter records used for an official proceeding, sex trafficking conspiracy, forced labor conspiracy, racketeering conspiracy, and wired fraud conspiracy.
That is so crazy. I feel like good.
Yeah. So there's still quite a few legal moves happening, and Raniere keeps trying to get like crafty, and the judge is like, no.
Yeah, I hope that we just like don't consider anything that he tries to bring to light, which kind of sounds shitty because you should never like be like, I feel like there's a lot of people who do go to jail who are innocent or who are painted to be no, this guy sucks.
No, this guy sucks hard.
He deserves,
but he keeps just being
all
like,
of it.
I'm innocent. And he keeps like trying to I don't know. There's a civil lawsuit that's still pending. Keith keeps trying to like be like, oh, I'm going to sue this person. But he has like his followers still trying to like do shady shit.
And they think that they're doing the good work. Like they think that it's just so crazy how people can be manipulated.
Yeah. My now least favorite character from Battlestar Galactica, Nikki Klein, has recently disassociated herself from Keith, but like I think it's to save her own ass.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. And
I think that she might actually end up in jail.
Good.
She was like she was like next to Grace Park, who did get out. It's really funny. If you go on Reddit forums about NXIVM, people have like, people are so hardcore. I love it.
Yeah, I do too.
They break down people's like, they believe that like Grace Park, Kristen Krug, they probably got out because they were working a lot.
Right.
And so they couldn't
like fully commit to something.
They couldn't fully commit. They couldn't move to Albany. They couldn't
saved them.
Yeah. They couldn't move to Vancouver. But because even Nikki Klein tried to have her she tried to get out of her contract at Battlestar Galactica to move to Albany because they shot in Canada.
Could you imagine? I would like to throw my entire career. I mean, people did.
Yeah.
But
I am going to rewatch Battlestar Galactica, even though I know what I know now.
But you got to see it through different lenses.
They kept on showing clips, and I was like, oh, yeah. I know you absolutely have not watched Battlestar Galactica.
No.
But there is this period of time where Tommy and I have posters. Like Battlestar Galactica posters. I went on a business trip to Seattle, and me and my coworker, we went to the Sci-Fi Museum, and they had all of like the spaceship, like all the jets from Battlestar Galactica, and so they had all these like cool posters. So
and you're like, it was
Tommy
the best.
and I had a Battlestar Galactica poster hanging in our house.
I love that.
And we constantly
That's how
refer to
serious
it.
your Battlestar Galactica love is.
We constantly thought about doing it earlier in the summer when it wasn't Ahsoka, Mandalorian, when the Mandalorian came out. Bo-Katan, you don't watch. Anyway.
I know nothing.
One of the characters is like a big character from Battlestar Galactica. And so, yeah. I'm gonna nerd you one day.
One day I just need to immerse myself in the nerd.
Yeah, I'll get you on some Star Wars. I'll get you on a Wes Anderson movie.
I mean, I welcome it. I just don't prioritize it. I'm down. I know. I don't say no to much.
I know. I say that. I'm like, I'm gonna get you into this, and then I'm like, wait, did you see that new cult documentary?
I'm gonna be like, yeah, I still have so we were about to watch the dance cult or the dance one.
Dancing for the Devil.
Dancing
you guys,
for the Devil.
If you have not watched Dancing for the Devil,
do it.
I'm about to.
How many episodes is it?
I don't know. I'm only on episode 3.
Oh, okay. So I'm running 3.
Yeah. I'm
just every time so last night we were like, oh, we're going to do it. And then we were like, God, we're so tired. Actually, we're not. Because whatever we start, we're not going to finish. So.
Oh, yeah. I can't believe you would have done that yesterday.
Yeah, no.
But no, it's really good. It's
maybe
about
tonight. Maybe
it's about all these TikTok dancers who kind of got swept into this like, I kind of think it's like an evangelist, like church. So like kind of like a Jim Jonesy kind of vibe, like which we don't cover. I was telling Tommy because Tommy was like, "Oh, are you doing it for watching this for research?" And I was like, "No, we don't cover religious cults, so we won't be covering it." But God, it's so good, and they have like people like TikTok dancing and like crumping in a way that just like I love.
Yeah.
I love a good dance moment.
I love dance though. I do. So it'll be interesting to watch.
Yeah. And I definitely have seen there's like a TikTok dance proposal situation that I was like, I was there for that live. I saw it when it went viral. And so I was like, oh my God, I remember that happening. So it's like weird. Because I mean, it's just like what?
Do you remember when people used to just like do flash mobs and then propose? Like, you know, stuff like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, proposal.
I know. I need to watch.
It's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of all we have. This was kind of a shorter one because the first, I should have cut that second, but the way we ended was so
it was
perfect.
such a good, the cliffhanger was,
this was kind of a wrap up.
Justice being served. It was a good one.
Fucking this like, so wait, I'm going to tell you about my Black Mirror episode that I was like, this is that. So in this Black Mirror episode, it's called the USS Callister. It's this guy, and it's kind of like Star Trek, where they're on the ship, and he's this like stoic, like he's like a stoic captain, and he's like falling in love with this like officer, and telling her like, oh, in my real life, because it's a simulation. He's like, in my real life, like I'm not really respected. People don't like me. I'm like a nerd, but like he is a psychotic tyrant in his real life, and he turns into a psychotic tyrant in the simulation. And I was like, this is fucking Keith Raniere vibes. He sees himself through the lens of being this like nerdy, like, oh, I'm really smart. I'm like, I'm a Poindexter.
And he ends up being
just like, and he's the worst. Like he's the worst
human.
It's like you want to have sympathy for him, and I think that's maybe why women fall for it, because they're like he's smart and he's like harmless. A nerd, and so he's sweet, and like there's something about a nerd that feels non-threatening.
Right, somewhat endearing,
depending.
Yeah. No, I mean, it all depends. Honestly, I feel like that's probably what it was, though, because
maybe this is like
our nerds are landing.
Maybe this is a millennial version of a nerd. Like
maybe
like we're thinking like she's all that level, or like like a Ducky from Pretty in Pink, or like
I went to straight Land Before Time. I was like, no, I know.
That's a whole other true crime episode.
Honestly, that's the saddest shit.
It is the saddest shit.
I don't think,
we're not ready.
No.
We just opened up a floodgate of me feeling really sad. Not for Land of Time, like for all
not
of things.
For,
because she was the voice of something else too.
I honestly don't know, but she was very young.
I know. What we're talking about, hold on. Land Before Time. Because now we've alluded
Ducky
to it.
from, what's her real name in real, like her?
Judith Barcy. She was also the voice of the little girl in All Dogs Go to Heaven.
Okay, I don't remember. I remember the movie. I don't remember the voice. But I will forever remember Ducky.
Yeah. So she was in a lot. She was a voice actress, and she was murdered when she was
11, right?
No, younger.
No.
I think so. Hold on. It'll say. Oh, yeah, 10. You're close.
Yeah.
Her yucca
by her dad.
No cult activity, so we won't cover it.
We won't cover it.
There's your coverage, but really sad.
No, it's terrible, but okay.
Everything is terrible.
Typically.
Everything sucks and everything is terrible. That's going to be my new podcast.
Everything sucks.
Everything sucks and everything is terrible. I can find it. You find something good, I'll find something terrible.
Right. We will see through everything and point out the terrible.
Exactly.
It's a superpower.
All right, what should we call this one?
You should have got more. No, I'm just kidding.
120.
120 ain't enough.
Try 220.
Yeah, much like his IQ.
Oh my God, that's why he should have been sentenced.
Yeah, he should have been sentenced
per IQ that he claims. Point. And he's like, wait. Remember, it was only 170.
Oh, 270
fucking
or
liar.
whatever.
Yeah, 260. Fucking liar, piece of shit.
It should be called 120 isn't enough.
What's a volleyball move that...
Set
your prison sentence for 260 years.
Serve, set
sentence for...
Serve, set, sentence.
Yeah, serve, set, sentence.
There you go.
260 years. You piece of shit. With your headband and your knee pads.
Fuck your knee pads. I wish they wouldn't work.
You do not need knee pads.
I wish that you would get diarrhea through every orifice.
Oh my God. I would hope. Oh my God. I would hope. Where would I hope? No. Yeah.
For him?
Pee hole.
Pee hole for sure.
Diarrhea through his pee hole
I
and
also
through his
kind of
eyes.
my eyes. I was thinking eyes. Because I just want to
and because he's got glasses, it maybe the heat will fog him up so he won't be able to see.
Diarrhea.
Steam.
Whoa. That got real nasty in my head.
You know what? I feel real good about it.
Yeah. Oh, I welcome it for him.
Yeah. I think that my Ritalin just kicked in because now I feel very steady about this idea.
Really?
Again, no witches have hit us up to tell us how to curse somebody with diarrhea.
Yeah. So just, if you're out there, let us know.
Witch talk.
Yeah. Let us know. Let us know. We'll be responsible.
Okay. Well, thank you for listening to this terrible, terrible journey.
Thanks, guys.
Listen, if you have HBO Max, you can watch season 1 and 2 of The Vow there. It is very good. It gives you a lot more. It's so riveting because of everything that's been recorded. It's crazy.
They have just so much.
They have so much. Like they had, and he thought, this is really funny.
Way to go, Mark.
Well, Keith wanted everything recorded because he was like, if they try to get us on anything, there'll be all these videos proving that we were innocent. But a lot of it is what brought him down.
Idiot.
Yeah. A lot of it brought him down. All these conversations. So it's like really interesting to see exactly how it all.
Yeah.
Because he definitely was like, yeah.
The accuracy is probably out of control.
And there's also a video of him talking to Daniela when she's younger and trying to convince her that he could be her religion.
That is just so fucking crazy. That is just so crazy. The audacity. I don't get when people can put themselves in such light to where it's like, oh, I could be your religion.
Yeah, fucking
fuck
twat.
Right off.
But yeah, so if you want, you should go watch The Vow. Also, Sarah Edmondson and Nippy Ames, their podcast, Just a Little Bit Culty. I'll put, or Just a Little Bit Culty? Just a Little Bit Culty. It's a little bit culty. I don't remember the exact. I will put it in the show notes. It's really, really good. They do talk a little bit. They'll give like updates, but also like from their point of view, I think that it's super, super handy. But then they also, they're parents. So they also have like attachment parenting strategies and stuff.
All right.
And they're cute.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you want, you could watch Battlestar Galactica. And maybe you make a drinking game out of it.
I'll watch it with you guys.
Take a shot every time you're all of a sudden reminded of
our
what
episode.
a piece of shit Nikki Klein is.
Yeah.
When you're like, oh, I love her character.
No, fuck her.
I know.
Yeah. I'll watch it. I'm down. Except for
so
like
good.
cult thing. I'm down for most things.
Down for most things.
Yeah.
I'm halvesies on something.
That's what I'm saying. Like I feel like
when I spent time in my hotel room alone, you know what I did?
Huh.
I watched Abigail, I watched a horror movie.
Track.
I know.
I am going to have to bring all the things. I'm going to be in a hotel room by myself for 6 days.
Oh, yep.
Isn't that crazy?
You can definitely watch The Vow and get depressed, or you can watch Battlestar Galactica, or you could watch Star Wars. You could start.
Yeah.
Look at my eyes are lit up, and Jess's look terrified.
I was like, I'll start with The Vow.
Maybe there's a new Bravo.
That's my shit. Like
You know what I'm gonna do? I think that I need to create like a Bravo type reality recap of like nerd things, like Star Wars.
Yeah.
Or like Marvel.
Okay.
Where I'll have testimonials of someone being like, he thinks that he is like on the light side. But like, really?
Uh-huh.
He's just a baby who's riding a pod racer or like something.
Like Star Wars, like nerdy things, but juicy.
Have you ever seen the sketch? Oh my God, this is getting off the rails. Have you seen the sketch, The Real Housewives of Disney? And like Lindsay Lohan, I think, is like Cinderella.
What?
And Casey Rose Wilson is Belle. Is she Belle? Who is she? No, maybe she's not. Maybe it's Noelle Wells.
No wrong. She would be a great Belle. She would be a great anything.
Kristen Wiig is Cinderella. And she's like, everyone's hammered. Oh my God, it's so good.
Oh my God, I need to see it.
It was on SNL.
Yeah.
Years ago.
When Casey Rose Wilson, wasn't she on for 1 year?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. All right, I'm down to fuck around.
All right. Well, thanks for listening to this Get Off the Rails for 15 minutes longer than it should have.
Usually.
Serve your time in jail.
Sentence.
260 years is what it should be.
Not enough.
Not enough time for that piece of shit.
Yeah.
Okay, we're done. He's a piece of shit. All right, bye.
Bye.